Hey guys, it's Damien here from the Brittle Box Candy Company. I'm going to offer you a few tips, 5 specifically, 5 that will help you sell more on Etsy. Sometimes sellers open shops and they're not very familiar with how Etsy categorizes products, how to utilize tags properly, and what are the best ways to drive sales and customers to your store. So I will give you my 5 tips. Again, just a little recap. I've been selling on Etsy for a few years now. I have a few thousand sales. Total, I have close to 250,000 visits on our store. And we've been doing it successfully for a few years. Etsy, I love selling on Etsy. And if you make a product or if you created something and you have a group of workers in your shop who make it, but it's all by hand, Etsy is a great place to sell. So, number 1, tags. The most important, in my opinion, the most important way to get your product found on Etsy is to utilize the 13 tags that they allow you to use. But you need to be as specific as possible when it comes to creating those tags and listing them. Again, you get 13 of them. So I want to use an example of something that we sell. We have over 50 varieties of brittle, candy brittle that we make. So if I were to take a basic traditional peanut brittle and I wanted to write 13 tags to draw a customer to buy a peanut brittle from us, I would use a tag such as peanut brittle, obviously, candy brittle, brittle candy. You can use a mixed nut brittle, anything that you could associate with a search or a thought. If there's a customer thinking of finding something like that, a certain type of candy, what would they think of? What would be the best term? What would be the best group of words to describe that? So once it gets indexed into Etsy's website, that will allow your customer to find you much better, much faster, and much easier. So the tags with a specific description, as specific as you can be, will be the best way for you to find more sales and, of course, more customers. Number 2, there is a section just below tags. When you list a product and you're making a listing, it's called materials. This can be pretty much anything that you can think of that you put together to create a final product. So for instance, if you weren't doing a food item and you were doing a dress, if you hand make dresses, Etsy's a great place to sell that too. I personally don't make dresses, nor do I wear them, but if you were to make a dress and you had several different types of materials, and you had beads and you had pearls and you had sequences, certain kind of polyester or cotton, all of those would be considered materials that go into creating that final product. So under the materials section, you want to put all of those individually. You also get 13. So 13 possible materials or pieces of material to create a final product. You want to make sure you list those. Because for instance, if somebody was looking for a dress and it had sequins and you had a material listed as sequins and your listing was a dress, very good likelihood that your dress will pop up in a search for that customer. So you want to make sure that you think kind of outside the box and get really specific about what you put in those sections, because that's a great way to drive traffic and sell more products. The next thing is number 3 on my list is price. You need to kind of do your research before you go on and start posting products. Just take a look around Etsy. If you're making chocolate chip cookies and you want to find out what's the pricing that people are charging for chocolate chip cookies, you want to search in their search box, find out who's selling them and what their pricing is. You're going to get a lot of variations. That's fine. That's actually a good thing. If you get 6 different prices from $13.99 a dozen to $24.99 for 2 dozen, you want to figure out how many you want to sell. Do you want to go with a dozen? Do you want to go with 2 dozen? You want to price them out and look at what the competition, what other people are pricing, and try to be as competitive as possible, and then also be as profitable as possible, because you are in business to make money. So you want to pick a price point that's kind of in between. That also gives you a little bit for yourself, of course, putting it together. The one thing you want to think about is how, when it comes to creating a product, how much time are you putting into it? What are the ingredients? What are the materials? If it, again, was addressed, something non-edible. If it's something that you eat, you got to price all that stuff into it. If you've got, again, chocolate chip cookies, just as an example, you've got 7 or 8 ingredients and you measure them out, find out exactly what the cost of all of those ingredients are, and then you want to make a markup, and then you also want to keep your price competitive. So somewhere between those 3 different parts, those 3 different elements, you want to come up with a price. The next thing is the number 4 is the shipping. This is something that I had to learn pretty much like everything else that I've learned selling online. I've kind of learned it by myself, and it took a couple of years to learn this. But now I could tell you exactly what it costs to ship 3 pounds from here to Singapore, what it costs to ship 5 pounds from here to Italy. But you need to educate yourself with the shipping rates. You need to educate yourself with the weight of international shipping, also domestic shipping. The USPS is our preferred shipper. We also use UPS. I don't use FedEx just because I don't. Nothing against them, but I just don't use them. But the USPS that we use, it offers, if you go to their website, you can actually create an account there, and you can print your labels, of course, up online and just in your business or in your office for your products. But there's a lot of variations. There are, of course, the flat rate shipping, and then a non-flat rate priority, of course, in first class. But they also have regional A, regional B, and regional C boxes. These are huge money savers, in my opinion. Huge money savers when it comes to shipping products that flat rate doesn't accommodate. And in most cases, it's cheaper. A lot of customers that we ship to, we use those types of boxes. Just get yourself a little educated about it. I'm actually going to make a video on specifically shipping. And I'll discuss how those regional A, regional B, regional C boxes work. If you're not familiar with them, if you are, great. The flat rate, of course, is just a single flat rate. But yeah, the regional shipping boxes are fantastic for any shipping in the U.S. When it comes to international shipping, this is where it took me some time to really learn. I kind of lost a lot of money initially on that because I was not familiar with the pricing for international shipping, which is fine because every day of life is a learning experience. I don't know all the answers today, but tomorrow I will. So what I've done is I've shipped internationally, like I said before, to 15 countries. Most of what we ship is very lightweight and falls under the 4-pound first class category. So most of that is pretty easy to determine. There's been some orders that have been over 4 pounds. And it eats up shipping. So you really, unless you charge your customer exactly what it is that it's costing to ship, you will end up losing money. So do your best. I really recommend you just kind of educate yourself. Go to the USPS.com and learn a little bit about international shipping, the different tiers based on the weight, and then of course the different shipping methods based on the weight as well. So look into that and definitely find out a little bit more. I'll have a very specific video on that. When you go to Etsy, when you make a listing, you can put everywhere else. It's actually called everywhere else as a destination that you ship, and it's great to do that as long as your pricing is right and all, and you make sure that you've covered yourself on pricing. The everywhere else really opens up your product to everywhere. And if you just create one flat fee, and you can ship pretty much to anywhere. Of course, charge your customer whatever it may be to get it to them. When you begin to get more familiar with it, it's very easy. You'll understand what the pricing is. If it's a 2-pound box of candy, if it's a 3-pound box of a cake, whatever it may be. So that is something else. And number 5, definitely take advantage of categorizing your shop by creating shop sections. I believe it's, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's 10 shop sections. So you can create 10 different titled shop sections on your Etsy shop to categorize your product. For us, we making food products. We've used all 10 of them. We've got categories such as cakes, cookies. We have also subscriptions that we offer, which is new. We do have the subscriptions where we sell a product, a candy product that's delivered every month for 6 months. So what we do is make a listing for a 6-month subscription, and right up front the customer pays for that, whatever it may be. Let's just say it was $50. 6 months worth of 1 pound of candy delivered every month. Those have been very popular for us. We do a lot of those through our website, thebrittlebox.com. And what we do is basically just make a fresh batch of candy, whatever it may be. We offer subscriptions for all kinds of items: chocolate-covered pretzels, cakes, buns, cookies, nuts, everything you can think of, we offer subscriptions for. So every month for a designated period of time, the customer gets it and enjoys it and such. A lot of people get that as a gift, and they just send, of course, the ship to address where they want it to go. So anyways, back to what we were saying. The shop section is very important. Categorizing a product, making sure you put it in the right section within your shop, makes it easy for customers to find. And also when they're doing a search on the general Etsy page, it makes for a much easier interaction for your customer. So if you create 10 sections, make sure your product is being listed specifically within that section, so it allows that customer to interact with your store online, makes it easier for them to use. So those are my top five things to really be aware of when you're making a listing to help your product get sold. We've used this, and so far it's obviously done very well for us, having a few thousand transactions on Etsy and growing. We've really had a great opportunity with a lot of weddings. We've catered a lot of weddings with our favors, party favors, and it's been really great. So I hope that those tips will help you out. And again, if you have any other questions or if you have anything that you want to comment, just let me know. If you want to also subscribe to our station, we are relatively new to YouTube, but go ahead and subscribe to us, because I'm going to have tons of videos, not only on how to run a shop online that sells food, but also how-to videos for making candies and brittles and things, and cakes, cookies, and you name it. We've got 500 items, so probably 500 videos we'll end up making. So anyways, thank you, and we'll see you later. Thank you.